Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot and a PMDG 777 beta tester. Today we are going to have a look at the engine failure in the PMDG Boeing 777. We are currently in New York's Kennedy Airport on runway 31 left, and we are going to take off through the Canarsie climb for a flight to Los Angeles, as American Airlines used to operate with the Boeing 777. Now we are going to have an unexpected surprise here on our takeoff, and before we start it, let me give you a small briefing on what's about to happen. So we are going to have an engine failure there on the takeoff, and this is our engine outset. Straight at 3 miles from JFK VOR, left turn direct Charlie Oscar Lima, climb at 3,000 feet. And that is our basic setup for the day. So with all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and start our flight. Now, this is not intended as a tutorial, so I'm more going to showcase things rather than to explain everything in detail. But rest assured, there will be a separate dedicated engine failure tutorial at a point in the future. Alright then, let's go. Take off. Oh, what's that? Pressed the wrong button, it seems. Here we go. That's better. So, thrust set.
80 knots.
Checked.
Rotate.
Engine failure.
Positive rate of climb.
Gear up. Autopilot. So, approximately reaching 3 DME over here. Padding select. Go left about 230. Okay, 400 feet, state malfunction. So, we've got engine fail left indication, 0 and 1, no EGT, 0 and 2, no fuel flow, oil pressure or oil temperature. I'd say it's an engine severe damage or separation there. That was a bit of turbulence here. Okay, engine severe damage, separation, memory items. Auto throttle arm switch left side, confirm off. Confirm? Left side confirmed. Off. Thrust lever left side, confirm idle. Confirm. Left side confirmed. Idle. Fuel control switch left side, confirm cutoff. Confirm. Left side confirmed. Cutoff. Engine fire switch left side, confirm pull. Confirm. Left side confirmed. Pull. Engine severe damage or separation, memory items completed. Okay, reaching the acceleration height. Let's quickly insert Charlie Oscar Lima. LNAV. A little bit turbulent here, making it a bit hard to accelerate. Okay, flaps 1. Speed checked. Flaps 1. At this point the crew really wouldn't say or do much. The memory items are completed. Flaps up. Speed checked. Flaps up. So for now we really just keep flying the aircraft and don't worry about anything else. Okay, flaps up, no lights. So, engine shutdown left, non-normal checklist, my radios. Engine fail left. Condition, engine speed is below idle. Yep, that's the case. Objective, to restart the engine if needed or configure for single engine operation. Thrust is lost on both engines. Nope, that's not the case. You can see it automatically detected all the items we did from the memory items here. Okay, we'll stop the climb in 3000, please. Okay, a restart may be attempted if there is N1 rotation and no abnormal airframe vibration. Well, there is no N1 rotation here, so a restart is needed? No. Okay, both engines run normally? No. APU selector, if APU available, start then on. So the APU is available. We will start then on. Transponder mode selector, TA only. TA only. Plan to land at the nearest suitable airport. Landing using flaps 20. So we are max landing weight 554,000 pounds. We're at 525. That's pretty close to the max landing weight. I'll tell you what. We'll do flaps 20. So landing using flaps 20, yes. Okay, ground proximity flap override switch, override. Note, use flaps 20 and VRF 20 for landing and flaps 5 for go around. Engine fail left, checklist complete. Okay, let's go ahead and take an initial heading into roughly the direction of the airport here, so that we don't fly too far away. We followed the engine out until we were above the minimum safe altitude. So for now we can continue this way. Okay. What else do we have? Equipment cooling override. Condition: the equipment cooling system is in override mode. Wait 2 minutes. This allows time for any smoke in the system to clear. And the timer is running, so that's basically it. Okay. In that case, we have worked on all non-normal checklists as far as we could for now. So let's do the after takeoff checklist. After takeoff checklist complete. Okay, we'll hold on that one for now. So let's do a quick review over here. Even though the decision making is rather obvious, we have to say. So we had an engine failure on takeoff. The engine is secured, it is not running, we will not attempt to restart over here. So the obvious decision is right over there and is called Kennedy International Airport. And we do have maintenance over there, we do have generally good weather conditions, so that is what we'll do. We'll divert back to Kennedy. We are below the maximum landing weight, fuel dumping should not be necessary. So let's go ahead and prepare for the approach. So, departure arrival, we'll just do the ILS 31 left over here just to make things easy. Red Zax. On to 314, inbound, execute. There we go. Okay, flaps 20 landing we set, so we are gonna do that. The minimum is 213, I do happen to know that one by heart. Obviously in real life we would reference the charts over here. So 213 is set and that good stuff is all set. Okay, so there is a status message here. Quick look at that while the timer is still running. Fuel spar valve left. That's fine. Okay. Auto brakes are set. Flaps are set. So the timer is up. Wait 2 minutes. Okay. Equipment cooling switch off, then auto. The equipment cooling override message blanks. Okay. Air conditioning, equipment cooling off, then auto. Wait 1 minute. This allows time for the system to reset. Okay, waiting a minute. Let's use that time to brief the approach. And we get fuel imbalance over here. Okay, well, let's quickly go ahead and work on that one as well. So, fuel imbalance non-normal checklist. Condition: there is a fuel imbalance between the main tanks. Objective: to decide if a fuel leak is suspected and balance fuel. If an engine has low fuel flow and unusual engine indications, the fuel imbalance message may show due to an engine malfunction instead of a fuel leak. That's understood. The fuel imbalance message may be caused by an engine fuel leak. A fuel leak should be suspected if... Okay, we'll skip over that for now. So, fuel leak is suspected. Well, we've got low fuel on the right-hand side, and the right-hand engine is a running one. So fuel leak is suspected. No, it's not. Fuel transfer switch, either on. We'll use both. Okay, left tank main quantity is low. That is not the case. Right main tank quantity is low. That is the case. Right fuel pump switches are forward and aft off. This allows fuel from the higher quantity tank to feed both sides. Inhibited checklist, fuel pump right aft, fuel pump right forward. And next up is fuel balancing complete. So we're done with that. Let's go back to the equipment cooling override. The time's up. Wait 1 minute. This allows time for the system to reset. We've done that. So, equipment cooling override message stays blank. Yes. Checklist complete. So, quick briefing then. It's going to be an ILS approach into 3-1 left. We're using flaps 20 and auto brakes 3. Maximum reverse will be used. We're under the maximum landing weight, nothing large to worry about. The runway is more than long enough. We do have a significantly displaced threshold over here, so things might look like we're coming in rather high, even though we are actually not. Apart from that, I don't really have any specials. Standard approach, just to review the engine out approach. We're going to intercept the localizer using flaps 5. We'll go gear down, flaps 20 when the glide slope comes alive. And we are going to keep the auto throttle operating pretty much for the entire approach, together with the thrust asymmetry computer. Anticipate a little bit of yaw as we go to idle thrust in the flare, and we'll use maximum reverse as quickly as possible. Auto brake 3 should bring us to a standstill well within the bounds of the runway, and the fire services will be standing by just in case, even though we do not expect any major problems here. You have any questions or suggestions on the briefing? No? Excellent. Then let's just quickly go over the notes we have down here. So engine fail left, note use flaps 20 and veer of 20 for landing and flaps 5 for go around. Okay, that is what we plan to do. In that case, let's just do a recall. And that's only those 4 messages which are all anticipated for the phase of flight. Okay. So, descent checklist. Recall, checked. Notes, checked. Auto brake, 3. Landing data. Veer of 2164. Minimum power 213 set left. And set right. Approach briefing completed. Descent checklist complete. And let's do the approach checklist straight away as well. Altimeters, 2981. Set left. Set right. Approach checklist complete. That leaves the landing checklist open. The notes are not relevant for our flight. Okay, so flaps 1, speed checked, let's start the left-hand turn to intercept the ILS, heading 340, ILS indications looking good, approach mode is armed, and flaps 5. Very quick briefing to the crew. Hi, it's the captain speaking. I've got a NITS briefing. Please advise ready, copy. Okay, ready, copy. So, we've had an engine failure. Our intention is to return to JFK Airport. We'll be on the ground in 5 minutes. There is no special passenger briefing required, and there are no specials. Please read back. Okay, engine failure, returning to JFK, no specials, no passenger briefing required. That's all correct, thank you. I do realize this was rather late in the overall sequence, but then again, that's what we would have had a PM for all the checklist work in that time. The PF might have talked to the cabin crew, or maybe not. Okay, so Glide slope alive, gear down, flaps 20. So, let's not balance fuel during the landing. So, fuel balancing is complete. Yes. Fuel pumps forward and aft switches all on. Both fuel transfer feed switches off. Fuel transfer feed off. Okay, fuel imbalance non-normal checklist complete. We might get a fuel imbalance warning again, but that's understood now. Okay, so what else do we have? Engine shutdown left, auto throttle left. Now let's go ahead and clear both of them. And that's the only two we have remaining. Looks good to me. So, landing checklist. Landing checklist complete. So, around about 15 minutes and we are back on the approach. Glide slope capture. Go around altitude 3000 set. I'd say that's a pretty good timing and performance over here. Not too long. Not too short. We took the time to do all the checklists. Solved all the problems. Well, easy going. It is of course a rather fast approach over here. 169 knots on the final. But you can really see how the 777 is a pretty awesome airplane in terms of automation over here. The engine failure was almost a non-event. Now, I've said that before we brought the airplane back to the ground. Train is noted. So let me first get that thing back on the ground, and then we'll talk about all the rest. But as you can see, overall, fairly straightforward, fairly easy to handle those checklists. And the autopilot was even available at 200 feet after takeoff, so that is really... what else can you wish for? The thing does it all for you. Have to admit, I'm even surprised that there are still memory items left, seeing that you could do all of these things just out of the electronic checklist, of course. Ooh, that's a nice little thermal over here. Welcome to Microsoft Flight Simulator. But we are well above the stabilized approach gate, so let's just have the airplane handle that stuff. And just look at this. Single engine, it's able to handle this. The automation on this aircraft is really superb. And let's just get rid of that traffic over here. I did not really intend to go around. Remove that. Thank you. Okay. Let's do the rest in manual flight over here. We'll make it a manual landing. Checked. So a bit of crosswind from the left. Actually, straight crosswind from the left now. Approaching the stabilized approach gate here, everything looking good. Our rate of descent is close to 1,000 feet a minute, but just look at the ground speed here, 175, then you know why. It's a bit hard to see, the display threshold is somewhere over there, with the touchdown zone over there. That's why it looks rather high, but it is really not. Now you can start seeing the display threshold come into view over there. Disregard that fuel imbalance checklist.
100, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
On the ground. Okay, speed brake up. One thrust reverse on normal. One 100 knots. 80 knots. 60 knots. Coming nicely to a standstill towards the end of the runway. Easy going. Manual brakes. And here we are. That's the entire procedure completed. So let's set the parking brake and let's quickly talk about what we've done over here. So, engine failure. Even though there was a slight tailwind component on 3-1 left over here, I really wanted to do this one because of the engine out procedure. Basically, straight at 3 miles, you can still see it down here on the nav display. That's basically a turn right at the departure end of the runway, and even below 400 feet. Now, of course, Microsoft Flight Simulator would give us a gust at that point, leading to that stick shaker activation, but the autopilot handled it perfectly. There was no reason for me to disconnect it. Apart from that, the airplane performed very well. You could nicely see the automation of the aircraft in use there. A small word, the real 777 has an engine out SID database. Of course, since those are company databases, PMDG can't simulate that stuff. In the real one, the EO SID would just have activated, and you could have used LNAV to track it the entire way. In the simulation, we had to go heading select, started that left turn, and eventually, when we had the time, just entered the direct to Charlie Oscar Lima, which was our engine out waypoint, manually, and then went back into LNAV. Apart from that, flap retraction, of course, did take a little bit of time here, because our takeoff thrust was quite far derated. Now, you would at any time be able to put the engines all the way up to the maximum rated thrust, or max continuous if you used only an assumed temperature takeoff. So we would at any time have been able to increase thrust if needed, which really gives you a very nice boost in the 777. However, I did not see the need for it. We could just remain in takeoff thrust. That made the entire thing a little bit more balanced. We didn't need to overpower the plane. We didn't need to accept a sudden yaw due to thrust increase. It just wasn't necessary to increase the thrust over here. As you could see, the takeoff calculation worked pretty well. We came back, could have briefed the cabin crew a little bit earlier, of course. Then again, in single pilot operation, it's always a little bit hard to do all these things because they are certainly meant for a multi-pilot cockpit. Well, came back, landed. As you could see, that was really a non-event as well. The thrust asymmetry computer is really doing a great job on the 777, both on takeoff, compensating the initial engine failure, likewise on landing when the thrust is being reduced to idle. We took quite a bit of runway. Obviously, 3-1 left was a choice that I took for simplicity over here. In the real world, you'd probably have gone on to 2-2 right or something the likes. Long runway, straight into the wind. But, as you could see, it was no problem landing on here as well. I did skip a couple things that we would have done in the real world, which, however, in simulator training you normally skip, like doing the landing performance calculation, stuff like that, because, well, let's face it, in simulator training the choice is rather obvious all the time. And on top of that, it was a bit of a challenge to take that bit of crosswind there and bring it in on that slightly shorter runway. Of course, that would not have been the decision we would have taken in the real world, but I think it was a fun one and posed a little bit of a challenge on the flying side of things, and for that reason we went for it. While stopping the airplane on the runway, as you can see, not all that much runway left, but overall not too much of a problem. We had plenty of braking performance left there as well. Well, and I do think that summarizes what we have done today. Now, if you're interested in a full tutorial on how to fly the engine failure in the PMDG Boeing 777, then do let me know in the comments below, and I might post one over the next couple of days. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. I do hope that you have enjoyed this one. Leave your feedback in the comments below. In the meantime, like, comment, and subscribe. And if you really love what I'm doing, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you for watching, and I see you all again on the next one.